Okay, so welcome to Talk is Cheap, a vlog edition. Precious Edda is my name, so I'm so glad to be in your space once again. Now, the topic I'm talking about today, or in this video, is should bandits be proscribed as terrorists? Should bandits be proscribed as terrorists? There's been this call everywhere saying federal government declare bandits terrorists. Perhaps if you declare them terrorists, your modus operandi for dealing with them will change, and then they will be stemmed. Many governors, the governor of Kaduna State had called for bandits to be declared as terrorists. Governor of Katsina State had called that bandits be declared as terrorists. And now even the National Assembly, the Senate, is pushing that the federal government declare bandits as terrorists. And all this is all these are done in the hope that when they are declared as terrorists, they would be treated in like manner as terrorists, as Boko Haram, as Islamic State and all that. They will be treated as terrorists, and then perhaps the tide of violence and evil that has been brandished by these people will be stemmed when they are declared terrorists. The federal government declared IPOB as a terrorist organization and has gone full scale, all out, to deal with members of the organization. The federal government declared Boko Haram a terrorist organization and is engaging right now in a war to end insurgency in the northeast. And so banditry has grown. And we've seen so many abductions, we've seen so many kidnappings, we've seen so many robberies, cattle rustling, we've seen so many evil rapes and all that. Schools shut down in many parts of the northwest of Nigeria. And then all because bandits are in action. And so many people have called on the government, declare them terrorists, so we treat them as terrorists, and then hopefully we will stem their tide. But the Minister for Information, and then even the spokesman to the president, the media aide to the president, Minister for Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed, and then even the spokesman to the president, or the spokesperson, media aide to the president, Femedeshina, also have come out to say that, well, bandits are different from terrorists. It's quite interesting. And there's this video I would like to show us. It's a video, an interview done by the Minister for Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed, on a TV show, and then here's what he says about here's what he has to say about bandits and terrorists. Just let's take a look at this video, and then we'll be back shortly.
This, what I'm going to say, will not be popular, but it's the truth. When a group is championing a cause for the disintegration of Nigeria, a group like IPOB does not even recognize Nigeria as a state, sets up its own army, and says it is a sovereign state. It's different from bandits and criminals. Please, don't compare apples with oranges.
But are they not threatening the sovereignty of Nigeria by taking arms against citizens of Nigerian state?
Security challenges is one thing. Challenging the very sovereignty of Nigeria is a completely different thing. Please, don't let's don't let us dwell on what I call semantics. Yes, it's not like saying armed robbers. Armed robbers, don't they threaten security of life and property? They do. Is that why is there anywhere in the world that armed robbers have been proscribed?
No, let's calm down. These are you classifying these persons as ordinary armed robbers?
Oh, they might be super armed robbers, but what do? They take what does not belong to them. They kill people in the process. I'm just using a very big example. Listen, let's get my argument clear. IPOB was not proscribed just because of the violence. IPOB was proscribed because IPOB as a group refuses to recognize the sovereignty of Nigeria as a country.
Which one is it?
All right, welcome back. Thanks. I hope you watched the video. And then, first of all, I'd like to express my disappointment. I'm thoroughly disappointed with the minister. I'm thoroughly disappointed in him. It's a shame. First, it's a shame that it's funny, but it's a shame that such distinguishing will be done between a bandit and a terrorist, saying that it's only ideological, that bandits are not looking for the disintegration of Nigeria. They're not threatening the sovereignty of Nigeria. But I'll just take us, in a few minutes, I'll take us through a few definitions of the key terms we're talking about here: banditry and terrorism. And we'll see if bandits qualify as terrorists. And I'll share my thoughts and my point, my decision, or my opinion is that bandits should be declared as terrorists. And this is my opinion. First of all, what's banditry? Now, according to the Collins English Dictionary, banditry is a type, or is used to refer to acts of robbery, violence in areas where the rule of law has been broken down. Banditry is used to refer to acts of robbery and violence in areas where the rule of law has broken down. So take note of those words there. And then Wikipedia defines banditry as a type of organized crime committed by outlaws, typically involving the threat or use of violence. Now, Premium Times, a very popular online news channel or news outlet in Nigeria, Premium Times defines banditry as the code name in the region for organized crimes. I think the region talking about the Northwest region. The code name in the region for organized crimes like kidnapping, cattle rustling, mass abduction, arson, and even armed robbery. And it goes further to say that banditry has now snowballed into terrorism. Now, looking at the other term that we're going to be talking about, which is terrorism, the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation in the United States of America, has defined or has put terrorism in two ways, in two types. There's the international terrorism and there's the domestic terrorism. Now, the FBI describes domestic terrorism as violent criminal acts committed by individuals and or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences such as those of a political, religious, social, racial, or environmental nature. I'll just take that again. You look closely at this definition: violent criminal acts committed by individuals or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences such as those of a political, religious, social, racial, or environmental nature. Now, the interesting part is that the Minister for Information says IPOB, Boko Haram, have been proscribed as terrorists because they threaten the sovereignty of Nigeria. Invariably, he's trying to say that terrorism is an act of violence that threatens the sovereignty of a country. But that's not the definition of terrorism. That's not the definition of terrorism. Terrorism, from the definitions we just read, or from the definition given by the Federal Bureau of Investigation in the United States of America, which is widely used, this definition is widely used by most people, most governments, and even though many people have conflicting definitions of terrorism, this definition is widely used. The United Nations has even alluded to it. It says that the influences for the violent acts are political. They could be political, they could be religious, they could be social, they could be environmental. So the influences could be any of these. And then if the acts, whether the acts threaten the sovereignty or not of a country, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that it is influenced. The act is influenced. It is not what the act tries to gain, really, that qualifies the act as a terrorist act, but the influence. It is the influence on the act that qualifies that act as a terrorist act. So looking at bandits and looking at terrorists, what's the influence? What's the influence? Boko Haram, the influence of Boko Haram is religious and also political, because they want to install their fundamental or radical Islam in the areas where they are occupying. IPOB says their influence it's political, because what they want to achieve is the secession from Nigeria. They need it's a political influence. What's influencing them is political. They want to secede from Nigeria. Boko Haram wants a territory. So it means if today the federal government of Nigeria, or let me ask this question to the minister, the Honourable Minister. If the federal government of Nigeria, or if somehow Nigeria as a country decides to become an Islamic country, assuming we hold a referendum and everyone in Nigeria says, yes, we want to join Islam and we become an Islamic country, wouldn't that be what Boko Haram wants? Boko Haram wants to Islamize. Boko Haram wants radical Islam. So if we wake up one day and say, well, we embrace radical Islam, that means Boko Haram's ideology has been achieved. Nigeria's sovereignty is not threatened at that point. But then the influence is to install, is a religious influence. It's a religious influence. IPOB has a political influence. So what influence do bandits have? Bandits have both political and social influence. And I could say religious also. Because we could hear a few weeks ago or a few days ago, the Sheikh Gumi, the Gumi guy, Sheikh Gumi says that Nigeria would be destroyed if the bandits are declared as terrorists. And he is a cleric that is widely known to be associating with these bandits and giving them spiritual inspiration and spiritual covering, and he's like a spiritual father to them. So what we're saying? What I'm saying is this: the influence for Boko Haram is religious and political. The influence for IPOB is political, and so they do violent acts. And now the influence for bandits is social, because they steal from people, they kidnap people and demand ransom. When they become so rich, and there are instances where we heard, or it's been alleged, that government paid ransom for the release of certain individuals. So these influences is a social influence to improve their social status. And what happens when they become too rich or richer than a particular state government? They take over the running of that government or take over the state, and the state cannot function. Imagine the bandits went into the Nigerian Defense Academy and kidnapped soldiers. They become that powerful. And you're telling me that simply because they don't come out to say, we don't want the sovereignty of Nigeria, we are not terrorists. I think the terrorists, they are terrorizing Nigerians, and they should be declared as terrorists. If declaring them as terrorists would change the modus operandi of the Nigerian army and security agencies towards them and crushing them, then please do declare them as terrorists, because there's nothing they do that's different from what the terrorists have done. It's just that their influence is social and political. The influence of the other terrorists are political and religious. They have the same influences. Somehow they have the same influences. And they use the same means, violence and the threat of violence. And simply because they've not woken up one day to say, well, we don't want the sovereignty of Nigeria, that doesn't make them terrorists. No, it makes them more terrorists. Because their actions threaten the sovereignty of Nigeria. Their actions threaten the unity and national security of Nigeria. And when actions of people threaten the security, the national security and sovereignty and unity of Nigeria, those people are terrorists. They are enemies of the state. They're not just criminals. They're not just simple criminals like the minister was alluding. They're not just simple criminals. They're terrorists and enemies of the state. I urge the federal government, declare these guys terrorists, fight them the way you fight terrorists, go after them the way you go after terrorists, and crush them. Nigerians have been in pain for so long, we can't bear them anymore. And I'll come back and I'll share with you my leadership insight for this video. Alright, my leadership insight for this video is don't be afraid to stand up to challenges. They make you better and they make you stronger. As a leader, as a person, in your personal development, in your leadership development, when challenges come, don't be afraid to face them up. Stand up to them, face them, and you will discover that the challenges will only make you better because it's a new problem and you'll find a new way to solve your problem. And when you find a new way to solve your problem, you have improved in your mind, in your skill, in your ability, in your capacity. So challenges, when they come, stand up to them, face them, and they'll make you better. Thank you for watching this video. Precious Eda is my name. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button. More videos come up shortly every time. Stay blessed. Ciao.